Let's do this. So live, get this kicked off and ready. Countdown. So we're live on my page. Ricky the Realtor. Getting Frankie J's info.
Si ya se la saben, ¿pa' qué la jugamos? La perla es muy clara y pa' todos alcanza. ¿Pa' qué acelerarnos si el sol es muy grande? Que sale pa' todos. No hay por qué pelearse, es mejor arreglarse. Para no hacer estorbo, no busco problemas. Mejor los arreglo para andar enfiestados. Siempre ando contento, la noche es más clara, evitando las broncas, saben más los tragos.
Get ready to link to the documentary. You gotta keep that there. Yeah, it's a lot of them. Hey, damn, bro, I thought this show was about me too.
10%.
And the other 90% is all fucking tequila.
Yep. I don't even get any of it.
I think we're live, so let's get this going.
All right.
Let me double check. I see that. Are you live on the? Are you live?
She's about to
Fix stuff, huh?
Cool. We're live? We're live. We're live on mine.
You live on yours? All right, let me just make sure. Because I want to monitor the chat, so if anybody has questions, same thing.
See if there's any participants
There's
that throw in
there's
like
anybody.
a question or something.
Yeah, we're good to go. All right, everybody, welcome back. Let's have this song finished because it's a good one. It's almost done. But we're gonna get started here. We got our man George Clooney joining us. We're gonna do things a little different today, bro. We had a long day of golfing. Frankie was out there
First time.
crushing balls on his first time.
I was kicking them though. I took my cleats. I thought you were supposed to kick them.
Soccer golf.
I took a baseball bat too, but I guess you can't use them.
So, bro, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just give you a little bit so we can try it, and then if you want to make it into a drink, there's some stuff to make it into a drink. But
¿Cómo decía Vicente Fernández? Primero con agua,
yeah,
la segunda sin agua
yeah,
y la tercera con agua.
I like that thing.
I'll let you do the honors and el brindis. Salud. ¿A qué brindamos?
Well, I think it's only fitting that we send 2021 off with a good note and welcome 2022 and para arriba, ánimo,
Puro ánimo.
salud. I know, jalón. I thought you were just gonna taste it. You drank the whole thing?
I tasted it, bro. It's good.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites, bro. To be honest, one of my favorites. We'll talk a little bit more about it as we get into tequila, but what I'm gonna do first, bro, I'm gonna kick off the tequila transactions number 19 with Frankie J. Garcia. So we're gonna be chatting with Frankie today. Also chat a little bit about real estate and how our industry overlaps with his industry. And then more importantly, we're gonna be talking about tequila. So first off, let me go ahead and just kick it off with a little promo video here. And then from there, we're gonna kick the mic over to Frankie, let him do his thing, and then we'll dive right into tequila. And if you guys have questions, Frankie's live on his Instagram. I'm live on my Facebook Live. So if you guys have questions, drop them in the chats. If you guys have any questions about anything that we're gonna be talking about today, whether it's real estate related or anything around life insurance or health related or anything of that nature. If you guys just want to talk about tequila, that's what we're here to do. So let's go ahead and kick it off. And I'm gonna start it off with this snazzy little video.
All right, enjoy.
All right, everybody. Once again, thank you for joining Frankie, my newest guest for December to close out the year, episode number 19. Thank you for being here, brother.
Thank you for the invite.
My pleasure. So without further ado, I'm gonna let Frankie introduce himself, talk a little bit about what he does, and then we'll also talk a little bit about how our industries overlap. We'll talk tequila, most importantly. And like I said, this is tequila and transactions first and foremost. So Frankie, take it away, brother.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for even allowing me to utilize the last month of the year, 2021.
Yeah, man.
To close out strong. I've had the honor and the privilege of being, good friends with you, fraternity brothers, and now business partners for some time. And all I can say is that, 2021, with the adversity, the challenges, and the obstacles and everything, we've still managed to be here today. So first and foremost, in complete gratitude for being alive today. Cheers to those, that made it, and blessings to those that are seeing us from up above. But a little bit about me, Frankie J. Garcia, born and raised in Los Angeles, graduated from San Jose State. And, I very, very early on, I saw the importance of networking. The fraternity, Gamma Zeta Alpha, taught me a lot of that, put me in leadership positions. And so, through my undergraduate career, I did what was supposed to be done, which was, get your degree and start a career. Mm-hmm. So my background is in teaching physical education. So, as a teacher, did it for a few months and ventured off into business. So I was working for Enterprise Holdings, corporate job, regular 9 to 5, more like 7 to 7 at some point. But, we started somewhere. And, 2 years later, when we were approaching 2019, things started to change. And the reason why is because I found out that I was going to be a father. So first thing in 2019, I found out that I was going to be a father. Everything changed. I was living in San Jose with my in-laws, and I had to pivot. I had to take on the responsibility, and that entering fatherhood was complete 180-degree change for me. I decided to take a bet on myself and, believe and trust in what my capabilities were. And unfortunately, that wasn't in the corporate industry. It wasn't in the traditional route. I decided to quit my job 2 months after my daughter was born and ventured off into a new business, a business that has allowed me to be more educated on a field that, our ancestors never had really the opportunity to learn about, which is financial education. As a Latino myself, first generation student, and the oldest of 4 in my family, really quickly, I saw the importance of learning the basic fundamental concepts of finance, just to make sure that we can establish something for the future generations of our family. And so considering my dad working in construction for nearly 30 years and my mother taking care of the household for the entire time, I saw the importance of making sure that they were taken care of. Someone that speaks English, Spanish, a little bit of Chinese, Mandarin. I love connecting with people. I saw a huge opportunity in becoming a financial educator. And so now, recently, with the opportunity that networking has provided for me, I've been able to establish a pretty awesome culture, within my brokerage. I have, fortunately, you in my corner as a real estate professional, alongside a couple other real estate professionals, mortgage professionals, people that are, establishing trust, helping people with their credit situation, wealth preservation through living trust, making sure that you're properly protected through life insurance, exploring your investment options. And so really being that go-to person that you can have a conversation with, knowing that I have the best resources in my corner, right? If I don't have the answers, I know someone that does. And for me, it feels great to be that connector. Now I'm establishing my culture, my team, to make sure that I duplicate myself and we get in front of more families so that we can, continue creating a change in our generation, especially in the Latino community. So as in a nutshell, a little, recap of myself.
No, and that's amazing that you touched on a lot of things. I think the most something that resonates with me the most is, that we are in our respective businesses, to help people, to help educate them, to guide them on, on their journey. And more than anything, just connect people. I mean, real estate professionals are connectors as well. We have to know people in every aspect of our industry and beyond that, because, we're selling folks their livelihood, we're selling, them pretty much something that they're going to be utilizing as, a home, an office, a gym, a place that their kids are going to grow up, they're going to see their kids go off to college and all that stuff. So a lot of life events happen, a lot of, connections are made, and throughout, that relationship that you build with your clients, things will come up that you have to connect them with individuals like yourself who are in industries that they may need assistance in. But ultimately for me, I'm in the same boat as you. Like, I got into real estate to help people. Pretty soon I'll be dropping my own documentary, my own little video. I don't know if it's gonna be as good as yours. If you guys haven't seen Frankie's documentary, go on YouTube. I'm pretty sure if you search his name, you'll find it. If not, I have the link in the description for the video as well. If not, reach out to me. I'm happy to share it. But I tell people all the time that I meet, and they ask me like, well, why'd you get into real estate? And I'll be like, I didn't want to be a realtor. I didn't want to be in real estate because I saw who they were and what they were driven to do. They were driven to make money. They were looking at their clients as another number on their spreadsheet. And for me, it's like when I came into this industry, I told myself if I was going to be in real estate, if I was going to do this full time, then I was going to do it better than anybody else. I was going to take people along with me for the journey. I was going to show them how, the ins and outs, to be more than just a realtor, be a consultant to them, make sure that they understand what they're getting themselves into, talk about, the repercussions, talk about the risks, and all that stuff. And more than anything, just teach the Latino population, the minority population, how to build generational wealth and how to own property. And I think our industries overlap a lot because, we're talking about preserving wealth. And more than anything, you could touch on it a little bit later as well, but, preserving wealth, but also making sure that you have, benefits in place to assist you when things get tough, or, God forbid, when your time comes. We don't know when that expiration date is for each one of us. If we knew, who knows how life would be, but at the same time, we don't know when our time is going to come. And, more than anything, we just have to be prepared and put ourselves in situations to be able to help people. So anything you want to add?
Well, there's a lot that we can talk about.
Right.
And I've been spending more time recently, now that I have found more clarity in what my mission is.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, when I first got started, by the way, being 27 years young, a lot of people will automatically assume and judge, hey, you know what, that guy's too young. Maybe we should go with someone that's a little bit more experienced.
You're telling me, bro, and I'm 32.
But something that most people
Right.
don't know is that my dad, with his 7 brothers, I was always asking questions. I was always seeing what they were doing, learning from their mistakes. I was always surrounded with older people. And even through college, my fraternity brothers were a few years older than me. So
Right.
I've always positioned myself in a place where I'm always learning from other individuals. And so in the beginning, one of the biggest struggles for me when I went into business for myself, I had that challenge, right? It was
Right.
like, Frankie is just getting started. I know him as the barber. I know him as the enterprise guy, and everything but the financial professional or the financial educator.
Exactly.
However, being the oldest in my family and seeing my parents, of making that sacrifice of leaving their country to come here, and just like your family and other people's family has done, I really saw the importance in positioning myself where I can grow as an individual, learn, and then teach and share with others. So one thing that I wanted to touch on, and I'm glad that you brought up my documentary, is the documentary I released this so that people can see my journey of when I first got started. I don't want to wait 10, 15 years from now when people say, oh, how the hell did Frankie get here? Right? I want to make sure people are part of my journey. And so my initial intentions has always been, how can I give back to other people before I even have any?
Right.
And now I'm stepping into the high schools, talking to high school students, making sure that they're motivated, they're inspired, offering scholarships in our Latino community, sitting down with their parents, making sure that if they want to buy a house, I connect them with a professional.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it feels great. You know, you're taking care of our community, you're taking care of other individuals. As a result, you're learning, you're growing, and you're leaving that impact, global impact, I like to say. And so I'm just very excited, you know, to have the network that I have right now and to know that I'm just getting started. We're just getting started.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I see your drive, your determination, your mission, and it's very similar to mine. I think we're on parallel streets here. You know, I'm in business for the long haul. I'm not here just to make some quick money, or else I would have been in another industry, or, you know, doing other things that are illegal to get quick money. But, you know, I'm here to do what I can to help my community. I'm here to do what I can to help my family, my friends achieve their goals. And, you know, a lot of my clients know that, you know, I try to have as much fun with them as possible. I try to be very honest and transparent. You know, I treat this business as if I was in their shoes every single time. I don't care whether you're buying a $100,000 condo or a $10 million property from me. At the end of the day, I'm going to treat you the same, and I'm going to act as if I'm in your shoes, because I know what kind of, you know, what kind of stress comes with it. I know what kind of questions come along the way. I've been a part in, just like you, I've been behind the scenes and learned from others' mistakes, and I've seen my uncles invest in properties and lose money, and I've seen them do very well. And ultimately, at a young age, you know, which I'll talk about in my documentary, I always was involved in different aspects of this business, thinking that my parents were maintenance people, and I was just the one helping them on the weekends to sweep the stairs and carports. And you know, to be honest with you, I think that was the biggest blessing in my life, was that my parents made me extremely humble. And gave me certain responsibilities as I continue to earn them. And, you know, for me, real estate is my life. It's my family's, you know, it's my family's business. And so that's why I became a real estate agent, was because the ongoing pressure from my dad and my family to be in real estate. But at the same time, I saw the need for it. I saw the need for people who look just like my parents, people who came from similar backgrounds, and also who weren't treated as family, were treated like just some, you know, clients that, you know, the realtor just wanted to make a quick commission on and move on. So for me, I treat all my clients with dignity, with respect, and I treat them like family, as I know you do. So that we're trying to build, you know, a big book of business, so that one day, hopefully our kids can take it on, or, you know, we can, you know, be extremely happy and grateful for all the people we've helped and build our own businesses from that. So I mean, cheers to that, bro, because it's a beautiful story and a lot more is to come. So salud.
Now, a question that I want to ask you is, man,
no one's ever asked me a question before on my show.
Come on.
Never.
Is that allowed?
It is. I mean, I'm not going to say it isn't.
All right, well,
Depends what the question is. I might have to plead the fifth.
can I whisper in your ear?
Huh? No. Go for it now, bro. It's cool.
Hey, bro, we're having fun today.
Yeah, so that's why we're here.
Early in the morning, golfing. No, a question that I want to ask you is,
Sure.
In your experience in real estate, the people that you've helped, because you've helped a pretty good amount of, you know, people now.
Yeah.
And you have your brand as Ricky J, the realtor, right?
Right.
What are you creating now? Like, what's the future for Ricky J Alvarez?
You know, funny you should ask that, because, you know, my goals for 2021 were to start creating a team, or start the process of creating a team. And I think that, you know, me just putting it down on paper and just being who I am, being a connector, always being very genuine with people and answering their questions, no matter how small, or, you know, I always make a joke, if I had $1 for every time someone asked me a real estate question, I probably would have retired by now. But at the end of the day, I mean, I'll tell you, yeah, right. Right. But at the same time, I find a lot of gratitude, and I find a lot of, I'm able to sleep easy at night knowing I helped somebody, whether they're my real estate client or not. I know that I put their mind at ease. I was able to give them some guidance. I was able to help them. And for me, that's worth more than money. Money will come and go, to be honest with you. But for me, just being able to assist that family, or just be there for somebody and help them along their journey, or just give them some comfort knowing that they're doing the right thing. At the end of the day, those kind of things bring you back referrals, bring you back a friend, an amazing relationship that you thought you'd never have. One of my cousins who was killing it in real estate prior to me joining and coming on, and he told me, you know what, you're gonna love this business. All your clients will become your friends, and almost will become like your family. And I never believed him. I was like, yeah, right, But I'll tell you what, I've made some amazing relationships along the way. I have some amazing people in my life who I call family, who are my clients. And I think me just being that way and treating people that way has allowed people to gravitate towards me. That plus I pay the right people to get my name out there online and, and be at top of searches and what have you. But I will say that for me, my mission is to give those tools and that inspiration and that drive to other realtors, potential realtors who are coming into the industry. If I can help incoming real estate agents who are young, old, first time in sales, been in sales, wherever they come from, whoever they are, if they're passionate about helping people, I want them part of my team. I want them to be a part of my journey. I want them to be a part of my collaborative culture, because for me, if we can help families get into homes, that is what helps me sleep easy at night. That's what allows me to wake up in the morning pumped and ready to go, knowing that, I helped 38 families get into a home this year. And that blows my mind, because I used to sell half of that. I used to sell 10 to 15 homes a year. My goal this year was to get 25 families into a home, and I superseded that. And next year I'm going for 50. So for me, that is what makes me extremely happy, is that I helped 38 families. I don't care about the numbers, about the price point. You'll see a lot of people in every industry flash, how much money they made or what have you. For me, what counts is the number of people I help get into homes. And for me, that's where I want to take this industry. That's where I want to take my company and my team, is to have this really collaborative culture of, people who really are passionate about helping people.
And what would you say to that one person that maybe is watching this, that has been wanting to take that step forward, but has some hesitancy? Maybe it's the insecurity,
right,
of not having that steady paycheck, or just taking that step forward, because it's a lot of challenges along the way. But
it is.
What's the benefit of that individual that is being hesitant and taking that step forward?
Right. I think if you have your 9 to 5 job, I'm not going to tell you to quit it overnight. Real estate's not for everybody. Real estate is a business that demands a lot from you, but at the end of the day, it's extremely gratifying in that once you hand those keys over, once you need to meet up that family or that couple or that individual, to actually meet them or see them almost for the last time, possibly, the amount of joy on their face and the expressions, the vibe, it's all about the vibe, man. It's one of the most beautiful things. My clients will tell you I make a huge deal about it. I buy them all these crazy gifts. And it's because I make good money. I really do. And at the end of the day, for me, the biggest of life event is handing over those keys and helping them achieve their goal. If they're a seller, if they're looking to sell and move out of the state, or sell to upsize or downsize or whatever it may be, same thing for my seller. Just the ability to help them reach their goal is everything for me. And just the, being able to be that person that helped them along the journey, made sure that they were supported, that they were understood, that they were educated, and that more than anything, that they had someone there to rely on to help them through the process. I mean, that's, for me, that's everything. So I will say that, if you're looking to jump into that deep end, don't just quit your job overnight. Really, network with other realtors. I'm happy to talk, always to sit down and talk with potential realtors, and just be very straightforward and open and honest with them, because that's how I came into this business. I came into this business to receive and suck in and sponge up as much information as I could, and I did that by listening, asking questions, and ultimately just holding open houses and being willing to help out these really top performing real estate agents, who I then in turn learned the way they negotiate, the way they lead generate, the way they do business, and made me more confident, because I knew that I was doing what they did and I was doing even more. And at the end of the day, for me, it wasn't until that one phone call that changed my life forever. And I'll tell you guys, I was ready to quit this industry. I was 6 months in, hadn't had one deal, was working my tail off. And this is right before the market took off, right after 2008, 9, and 10. Market was kind of bad. I started, getting into real estate around 2012, 2013, graduated college. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to jump in the deep end. I'm going to go full time within 6 months, right? And it didn't happen like that. I didn't make any money for 6 months. Good thing I didn't quit my day job. But at the same time, I still had some money that was coming in, but I was exhausting my funds. I was paying for all this marketing. I was doing this, I was doing that. Spending a lot of time in the office, calling people, sending postcards, knocking on doors, you name it. I was doing it all. And I think for me, the epiphany, or that moment, the aha moment, was when I got the first phone call from a family member, like, hey man, I'm ready to buy my house. Are you ready? And I think that's when I was like, it was time for me. It was like, it knocked on my door. I was there to receive that opportunity. And I was like, I was born ready, baby. That's what I said. I'm born ready, baby. And boom, that was my first transaction. And now has turned over to over 100 plus transactions since getting licensed in 2014. So to be honest with you guys, it's a huge leap of faith. You have to really be willing to collaborate and work with other people, because you're working with clients, you're working with realtors, inspectors, you name it. So you're working with a lot of people, but at the end of the day, you have to be very conscious about your time is now built around your business. They say, oh yeah, if you want more time, go into real estate. No, that's not true. You're actually working even more time, because you're building your business, you're marketing yourself, you're lead generating. It's a nonstop hustle. So I will tell you guys that it's a nonstop hustle. But at the end of the day, the money comes and goes, but what stands out the most is that look on your client's face when you hand them the keys, that look on your client's face when you made them $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 over their asking price. That look when the little girl gets to go on her play set for the first time, or when they run in to pick their rooms. That is the most gratifying experience. If there's no secret sauce to this industry, if you work hard and treat people right and stay consistent at marketing yourself, you're gonna be very, very successful. You'll make 6 figures no matter what. But at the end of the day, like I said, the money comes and goes. The most important thing is that you're helping people achieve their goals.
Awesome. Appreciate you sharing that, letting the people into the world.
Mm-hmm.
This is Tequilas and Transactions. So why don't we take a quick break and transition over to tequila and educate me.
I thought you would never ask, bro.
Educate me on tequila. You're from Jalisco. And
I don't know if you guys can see this, probably not because it's backwards, but drinking a little Casamigos. Shout out to the best transaction coordinator in all real estate, 𝘞𝘦𝘭𝘤𝘮. Thank you for the gift. Drinking it on my show, enjoying it as it should be. I will say that this is probably one of my favorite bottles under $100. If you're looking for a good tequila, if you're not going with Centenario, you go with Casamigos. There's a bunch other out there. Believe me, it depends on your palate. It's like wine, you know what I mean? But I will tell you that time and time again, Casamigos has not done me wrong. And a lot of times when the company has been sold, they change recipes or they change flavor. And I'll be honest with you, it's stayed the same, it stayed consistent, which I really appreciate. Because sometimes you'll get really accustomed to a good liquor or a good drink that you really like, and then they'll sell it off to like a big corporate company, and then they'll change it all up because of production or they want to save costs or what have you. But George Clooney and his partners, and George Clooney is like one of my favorite actors, so I had to drink this, man. But either which way, Mr. Clooney himself had this tequila casted with some partners in Jalisco. And if folks don't know, you cannot call tequila if it's not made in Jalisco. And the reason for that is because Mexico has the patent for tequila. So the other process, the more indigenous process, the original process of distilling alcohol from the agave is mezcal, but tequila is done a different way. The process is different. They distill it a different way, and they also cast it in barrels. So that's why you get this beautiful caramel colors, because a lot of the tequilas that are put into these barrels have been put into whiskey barrels, bourbon barrels, and all that kind of stuff to give it that oaky color and that oaky flavor. So if you're really big into like, I would say like bourbon or scotch or whiskey, you're gonna want an añejo tequila because it's very similar to what you're used to, that oakiness, that flavor. If you like vodka and stuff like that, you're probably gonna want to go with more virgin tequilas that are easier to shoot, which are like the blancos, and probably reposado is probably the highest you want to go. But this is a very particular taste. Extra añejos where you're talking about it's in the barrel for 6 to 8 months, 12 months, even more, maybe even more. Typically you're gonna be in a barrel for about 3 to 4 months, I believe, for a reposado, and then about 4 to 6 months for an añejo to really get that color. But there are some tequilas out there, like Plaza Azul is really, really known for like their extra aged tequilas, and they'll be in barrels for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and you're talking about 2 to 3 years in a barrel after it took 8 years for that cactus to mature. So you're talking about a 10-year process. Hence why you're drinking a $4, $5, $6, $7, maybe $1,000, $2,000 bottle. That's why that price is that price, because of the fact that it took so long to get to your table. But tequila continues to be very, very sought after. It's taken the U.S. by storm. These last few years, a lot of people have started to drink more tequila more than ever. So that's why if you go to stores, it's sometimes hard to find a good tequila nowadays because people stock up. And at the same time, the production is down. Even in Mexico, when I go out and visit, they're even having a hard time finding people to even cut the agave. And the thing is that there's not many workers available. So that's the thing too, is that there's not many employees. The demand is still high, and the supply continues to be down because they have limited employees, and they can't turn around the product fast enough. So the craziness thing the craziness about it all is that, like, I think George Clooney was one of the first ones that kind of brought out a celebrity tequila, and then Puff Daddy came out with Avion. I believe it's Puff Daddy. P Diddy came out with Avion. You got the Rocks, Terramana. I believe it's Terramana. I think something like that. Terramana, I believe it's the name. And then you have E40 has 𝘍𝘬𝘮𝘭𝘢. So you're talking about a lot of these big names. I mean, even I don't know if it's Kylie or which one of the Jenners dropped her tequila as well. But talking about all these celebrities now who are putting their names, their stamps on these tequilas, which goes to show you that it's well beyond what we thought was the demand. Now you have celebrities who are putting their names and stamps on this thing. And one of my favorites now as well is Michael Jordan's tequila called Sin Coro, which is a really, really good tequila as well. But I will say, cool bottle. not as good as my man George Clooney's Casamigos. I'm just gonna say that right now. As soon as you took that first drink, you're like, oh, this is good. It's probably one of the best on the market right now that you're not gonna break your budget. Because right now, for the more flashy bottles, like you're talking about the 1942s, the Clase Azuls, all those other bottles, you're gonna spend at least $120, $130 depending on where you're at. Costco usually has some good deals, but the thing is that they sell out fast, so you got to get in there quick. But another good one that just came out too, Centenary just came out with their extra añejo called Centenary Leyenda, and that it came out in a brand new bottle. It used to be in an oval shaped bottle, now it's in a tall bottle. Great tequila. I think also for the price, it's really, really good. It's about $120, $130, but you're getting an extra añejo versus you're getting a reposado from Clase Azul, which is, to me, the reposado is better than some people's añejos, for about $130, and that's the blue bottle. And then 1942 from Don Julio, you're paying almost $130, $140 for an añejo, which is good, but to be honest with you, I'd rather drink Casamigos all day of the week, but that's just me. Do you guys drink tequila? Does your family drink tequila?
Yep, we do a lot of Centenario, and my grandpa is a huge Hornitos fan.
Oh, Hornitos?
Yeah, Hornitos.
That's old school.
They talk to me about my grandpa, and they're like, my tíos and everybody's like, sí, tu abuelito siempre traía su botella de Hornitos. Todo, ¿verdad? My dad is more of a beer drinker.
Yeah.
Not so much tequila, but when we go to Mexico,
oh yeah,
it's all tequila. All tequila. I remember one of my uncles.
Do you know why that is?
I don't know.
Have you ever compared tequila from the US to tequila in Mexico?
I mean, it's just like what do you say? It's made in Mexico. That's why people even drive to TJ rather
Right.
buy the bottles there. But
Do you know why Do you know why?
Educate me.
Okay.
Educate us.
So a lot of my listeners already know this, but I will tell you guys that the recipe changes. If you look on a bottle, how much percentage alcohol does that have, Frankie? Should be on the corner, maybe.
40%.
40%, right? Typically in Mexico, you're only going to have bottles that have anywhere between 35 to 38% alcohol content.
35 to 38.
Right. That 5 to 7% difference, or I should say that 5 to 2% difference between a tequila that has 35% or 38% compared to 40%, the flavor is much different. Talking about a smoother tequila, you can actually taste it. It's not overwhelming. So that's why a lot of times, one of my buddies I had on my show, Victor Ray, is one of my realtor buddies and realtors from NAREP. When he was actually on my show, and I tricked him. I bought a Centenario from Mexico and a Centenario from here.
Yeah.
Today we're gonna do a little different. I want you to do a taste test between US and Mexico, right? So I had him try the US one first. Like, oh, that's pretty good, right? Then I let him try the Mexico one, and his eyes lit up. He's like, bro, it's not even fair. It's not even fair. And it's like, the real difference is that you're talking about something that is less diluted versus something that's diluted. And the reason for it is because the max alcohol content they can ship to the United States is a bottle that has 40%. So that recipe changes when it hits the States. They're able to sell something with more alcohol content. I will tell you that it's a complete 9-day difference. I'm the same way. I mean, I enjoy beer like the next guy and gal, but you're gonna catch me drinking more tequila just because that's what I like to drink. And you're usually gonna catch me with something with a seal on it, with a little Mexican sticker on it, because their flavor profiles don't compare. And plus, you're talking about less alcohol, also less hangovers. So if you're drinking tequila right, if you're drinking a good tequila, an añejo tequila, even any tequila, whatever you're drinking, as long as you're not overdoing it with like the mixer, the sodas, you should be fine. So
That explains it.
don't do a lot of soda. Try to do a sparkling water. Hence why from my trusted Trader Joe's sparkling waters here. And it's because of the fact that you get a little flavor in there, but it doesn't overwhelm the tequila. At the same time, you're drinking water. So you're hydrating while you're drinking.
Now, the one thing that they told me that when you're making a mixed drink, for
Sure.
example, tequila with sparkling water and a pint of squirt,
Yeah.
it matters what goes first. Is that true?
Yeah.
Que unos dicen que primero
Yeah.
el tequila
Yes.
y luego el agua mineral.
Yeah.
Little
And,
squirt.
and then you splash it. Yeah. I don't do squirt anymore. I like citrus soda. I'm not a huge fan of it in my drinks anymore because it's a hangover waiting to happen. What I do is I call it a paloma negra, but people call it also a campechana. There's different names for it, but a paloma technically is tequila, citrus soda, some citrus like 𝘠𝘬𝘬𝘶𝘪𝘴𝘢, which is grapefruit, a little bit of lime and lemon and orange and stuff. So you do a lot of citrus, which is typically what a paloma is, or what they also make in cantaritos, a little clay cups. But I do a little different. I go tequila, mineral water, like literally it's probably 20% tequila, 70%, or yeah, about 70%, 70% mineral water, and then I do a little 10%, little splash of Coke.
Mm.
And the reason why I do Coke is because it gives a little bit more color, gives a little bit, just a little hint of sweetness in there. But I just thought it looks cool, especially when you do a little bit of little drizzle on the Coke on the top. It kind of melts into the cup. It looks really, really cool. But that more than anything is why I do it, because of the taste profile and because of the look of it. But at the same time, I like to drink them that way. So like when you go to Mexico, you're like, oh, can I get a tequila with agua mineral and then like con coca or whatever, or you say campechana, people know what that is. It's, say, oh, can I get a tequila campechana? And they're going to bring you mineral water and they're going to bring you Coke. So, it just depends on how you like to drink it. For one, if there's no Coke, it doesn't really matter. I'll straight just go tequila and mineral water and I'll be fine all day. Wake up next day feeling like a champ. The last thing you want to do is be chilling in your bed all day, hurting, can't get out.
In Mexico.
In Mexico, when there's so much to do, so much to see, so much to eat, and you're over there just chilling, laid out in your bed, trying to recover. But I will tell you that everyone's different. Everybody's taste profile is different. A lot of people do like the squirt of the citrus soda. Out Mexico, it's more fresca than anything.
Yeah.
So the tequila fresca and sometimes some sparkling water, but it just depends. I mean, match it up, find what works for you. But you have to get a good tequila first. That's the number one piece of the puzzle. So
there you go. That's tequila 101.
a little bit of it. I always try to, give people a little bit more insight because everyone has this bad, like, oh, like, I don't like tequila. I don't like Jose Cuervo. Oh man, you haven't even seen nothing yet.
What is something that maybe you haven't really touched on tequila on your show?
I've kind of talked almost about it all, other than probably what I probably haven't touched much on is how a cutthroat and aggressive that market is. You're talking about any land that's not being built on is being utilized to grow tequila, to grow agave, excuse me. The demand is something I've never seen before. As soon as you touch down in Jalisco, as soon as you show up to the Guadalajara airport, like they don't decorate their airport with plants or in flowers. They decorate their airport with agave plants, which one day will turn into tequila. So what they can utilize and what they can, use to plant the agave, they will. And the fact that also, something I probably haven't touched on, which is probably for another show, is how cartels are involved and how organized crime's involved and all that stuff, because you're talking about like plots of land that you're building, that you have all these plots of land that you're growing this crop on that's turning into gold. Like that plant is going to turn into bottles of gold. and you're going to be able to sell it for a premium. Tequila is a majority of it is actually sent out to the U.S. Very little of it stays in Mexico, but the majority of it goes across the world, to Asia, to the United States, all around the world, and that's because there's just a huge demand around the globe. But at the same time, I will tell you guys that there's just a lot that goes on with the process of tequila, the distillery process. I probably will also, and I brought one of my friends on from Tepatitlán, Jalisco, who used to work and still does work kind of and does some work for tequila companies out in Jalisco, and in tequila specifically. But at the same time, she was giving us all this information of like different distilleries and what they do. But at the same time, there's all these companies that people don't really talk about too much that are growing like crazy. It's organic tequila. So there's a lot of, I would say, vigilance. Like there's a lot of oversight on these agaves because they need to be organically grown and then to create organic tequila. So the crazy thing is that is now the new kind of fad, is organic tequila. So there's a lot of different topics I could say now, probably I haven't touched on now that I'm thinking about it, but organic tequila is probably one of the more up and coming things that are going on because of the process. And it's like literally like they're babysitting these plants. They cannot put any pesticides. So that's another thing too, is like now that tequila is being so broadcasted all throughout the country and all throughout the world, now you have a demand for folks who have food allergies or that want to drink tequila, but they're not wanting to expose themselves to pesticides or what have you. So they'll ask for a organic tequila, and here are these companies that are starting to do that.
Organic, non-GMO, grass-fed, gluten.
It's out there. Believe me, it exists. And all these people, they're probably gonna watch this and be like, "Oh, what the hell?" But I swear to God, I swear that this is true. It's happening. It's going to be probably a new kind of fad for tequila because of the fact that everybody has their opinions and what they'd like to eat and how they like to eat it. But
to each its own.
Yeah, exactly. So why not organic tequila? So here we are.
Let's get creative and make sure everyone's happy. Now, what do you typically? How do you typically conduct your tequilas and transactions to make sure that the audience, they obviously already learned a little bit about both of us, tequila and.
Well, at this point, usually I open it up to questions if people are engaging online, asking questions. I know it is the holidays, everyone's out and about. I usually get a lot of people who jump on and watch the show afterwards, but more than anything, since we're coming up on 45 minutes, 46 minutes now, I always like to try to keep it to an hour to respect everybody's time. But at the same time, at this point, I usually just kind of hand it over to you and say if there's anything else you'd like to share, anything you'd like to leave the listeners with. And more than anything, where do they find you? How do they connect with you? Obviously, you can go to my page and find Frankie, but definitely want you to be able to shout your social medias out, put your information out there. And like I said, I do have the link to Frankie's video on this in the description. So if you guys want to go check it out, go to YouTube. You'll click the link below. You'll be able to get there. But one thing I just always like to talk a little bit about you, introduce yourself. We'll talk a little bit of, about how our industries overlap, or more than anything, just kind of give you the floor to talk about anything you want to, tell the listeners about your business. And then we dive into tequila, which we've already done. I think we've talked a good amount of tequila, and might even talk more tequila after the show's over. But I will say that at this point, I kind of just hand it over to you. See if there's any other messages, any last words. I mean, the floor is yours. So, everyone knows about what I do and stuff like that. But I think, you're an expert, especially this is the first time I've had anybody in your field on the show. So now it kind of, all eyes on you, to kind of talk about what you feel is important, where people should look out for. Obviously, once they purchase a home, I think the last thing that people think about is having a life insurance policy in place if they don't have one already. in place, and protecting their assets, because obviously, what happens if, God forbid, the main breadwinner is no longer able to work and no longer here. So it's like, what are your recommendations, as far as, like, I'm gonna now kind of put the spotlight on you, like, what are your recommendations, like, for maybe a young family who has, maybe husband and wife both work, but they depend on each other to have those incomes, and what can they do to have some, maybe a little security blanket, but also have some things set up, so if,
Right.
God forbid, something happens to one of them, now they're not not able to keep their kids in their home, and more than anything, just kind of keep that same lifestyle that they had before, that they probably would like to carry on. So
Well, I'm glad that you say that you asked that, because the way that I've been taught and the way that I like to carry myself, the approach that I like to have, it's more conversational. I think
Right.
it's important to understand what is the person looking to achieve, short term, midterm, and long term.
right.
Here's the deal: everybody works for money. So to me, it makes sense to learn how money works. And when I sit down with the client, anybody, it's a good starting point to understand the three different perspectives. For example, we like to talk about the three buckets. And what that means is, you have the money that is liquid, it's accessible, it's been taxed. Then you have the money that is being taxed later, your 401ks, your investments, things that are, gaining a higher rate of return in comparison to your first bucket, but it's volatile.
Right.
And then you have your third bucket, where you have your tax-free income. For example, the Roth IRAs, right? The cash value life insurance policies, the municipal bonds, the 529 plans. And when I sit down, it's important for people to understand that there is three different ways that money grows. There's three different ways that money gets taxed. And at the very foundational level, it's, since tomorrow's not promised, what do you have established now that can protect you, God forbid something were to happen? Because two things are certain: death and taxes. Unfortunately, people pass away on a day-to-day basis. And it's a little heartbreaking when we see GoFundMe accounts. Why? It's not to not support them, it's because there are resources out there that on a weekly basis, you go to a coffee shop and you spend, in a monthly basis, let's just say, conservatively speaking, $50.
Right.
Well, what if I told you that for $50, you can have a $500,000 policy for the next 30 years, that if something were to happen to you, your family gets $500,000 tax-free to pay for the funeral expenses, medical procedures, or anything in relation to a critical, terminal, or chronic illness. So it's not, oh, it's another expense. It's, I have my family, I have my beneficiaries, I have my loved ones. What can I do to make sure that I protect myself just in case something happens? Because you can build your real estate portfolio, you can build your investment portfolio, but if you pass away, who is going to take charge of that? Who is going to take over that, the control? And so that's why wealth preservation is very important. And that is exactly why I strategically partner with someone that does living trust, so that people can establish a living trust and they're able to take back the control of their investments, their assets. God forbid something happens to them, it's protected within that will, within that trust, within that deed,
Right.
and it doesn't go to probate. And then the court has to decide who is the one that is going to take it. So my approach is very foundational. It's more on the protection side. But what I do have the ability to do is, look, if you want to invest in municipal, in mutual funds, individual stocks, bonds, crypto, whatever it is, real estate, let me have you speak to the professional. And that is the approach that I like to take. It allows for me to have a conversation. It allows for me to address their needs, their wants, and be able to educate them on a foundational level, and then make sure that they're connected to the professional in their respective goals. So that is the approach that I've learned. It's the approach that I feel most comfortable with. And since we're talking real estate as well, in the conversation, when I ask them, what are your short-term, what are your midterm, what are your long-term goals? Well, I'd like to buy a house. So what do? You look at their credit situation, you look at their income situation, you do a couple questions here and there, but I always say, I'm going to connect you with the professional so that you can set up a plan that you can follow and make sure that you can achieve your goal of buying your home. That's what I do. I get paid very well for it. I get to expand my network, and I get to help people in various different ways without the need of having to push or sell one product, one service, or one company. Because since I'm independent, I have the ability to connect with many different companies to make sure that the client has the options to decide what is best for them. I'm simply here to guide you and connect you. And that's what I do.
Frankie the Connector, everybody. So I will say that that was a lot of information, but very powerful information in that, you know, there's a lot of resources out there for you. It's not just one route to take. There's a lot of, you know, different options out there for you. And that's why you have to connect with professionals like us. We're here to help you, who are genuinely wanting to help you. And more than anything, there's no obligation. We'll be here to assist you and provide insight, and more than anything, educate you. But at the end of the day, you know, we're here to make sure that we help you achieve your goals. So awesome.
One last thing.
Go for it. Yeah. I need a refill.
There's a lot of people that do what we do.
Yeah.
Why work with Ricky? Why work with Frankie? Look, at the end of the day, I actually encourage people to get different perspectives, because I want to make sure that the client is able to make a decision that is comfortable to them. But just know that for me, what I'm creating through my agency, 𝘠𝘬𝘮𝘭𝘢 Wealth Academy, at a very young age, I experienced something personal, and that's why I want people to go back and click my link, because at one point I wanted to take my life away because of something that happened to me before I was a teenager. And my mission with what I do now is to be in a position to give back. So why do I want to build wealth? Why do I want to make a lot more money? Because I have the intention of accumulating that and giving back in forms of scholarships. And I started that this year. So my goal for next year is to be in a position to give 20 scholarships to both students and families in need. And if anybody decides who should I work with or who should I consider, just know that when you are considering Frankie J. Garcia, know that what comes in is going to go back out to our communities. And I think that's important for people to know, because it's like, okay, why is this guy, you know, growing his business? There's a reason, there's an intention behind this.
Awesome. That's amazing. Well, with that, brother, salud. Cheers to you. Many more years of success. You know, can't wait to see how all the fruits of your labor come about. And, you know, it's going to be an amazing journey. We're only getting started. And it's just a pleasure having you, bro. So I appreciate you coming on. I think it's about time that we wrap it up. But it was a pleasure. Like I said, once again, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Is there anything we can ever do for you? My man, Frankie J, where do they find you?
You can find me on Instagram. I'm pretty active there. It's Frankie J Garcia _Jr. I'm on Facebook as well. And, you know, my personal contact, they can always reference to your page.
Yeah.
Get a hold of you. And, you know, I'm always happy to connect with you and see if there's anything I can do for you, or connect you with the person that can assist you. So Instagram is probably the best bet, Frankie J Garcia _Jr. And I appreciate the opportunity, brother.
My pleasure, bro. My pleasure. Well, you guys know who I am, Ricky the Realtor. I'll make it happen. I'll put you guys in touch with my man here. And anything else you guys need from us, just let us know. With that, let's end 2021 and salute to 2022. So thank you again, everybody. It was a pleasure having you, and pleasure having you too, bro. We'll have you on.
¡Ánimo!
We'll have you on another one soon, and we'll talk more because there's plenty more to talk about. So thank you, everybody. Talk to you soon.